Attention, we are in a state of emergency. Prepare now.
Islam has been swarmed by a catastrophic plague of locusts.
Along the coast of Rhode Island as a swarm takes over a local beach there.
As those floodwaters continue.
You guys, it's worse than it was just a minute ago.
Imagine you open your garage door and you see the entire Atlantic Ocean.
Christianity is the only thing standing between people and the state. Because when you have God above government, the government doesn't become God.
Disrespect to any religious group.
There is no way in hell I would let any child in my family go anywhere near the Olympics after what I just saw.
And to sit here and let France mock the country, mock your religion, make fun of every single thing you feel holy, this is the Last Supper. This is disgusting. This is not art.
We currently live in truly unusual and disruptive times. The global scenario is marked by a series of extraordinary and undoubtedly turbulent events. I had never truly understood the term turbulent times until I had a remarkable experience during an international flight that faced intense turbulence. It was that kind of situation where you don't know if the plane will continue its journey or if it will crash. The intensity of the turbulence was so frightening that people around me began to pray out loud, seeking comfort and reassurance in the midst of their fear. This experience is very similar to the current state of the world in which we live. We are all in a moment of emergency, surrounded by uncertainty about what is to come. The entire planet seems to be holding its breath, anxiously awaiting the next event that could change everything. Just look around us to see what the world has faced this year alone. We witness strange and unusual weather patterns in many parts of the globe. In the United States, for example, the severe weather season has been the worst in more than a decade, with more than 1,000 reports of tornadoes so far and forecasts indicating that more storms could occur. Additionally, we had the opportunity to observe solar eclipses and solar flares that allowed the aurora borealis to be visible even in southern regions of the United States. This year, we also witnessed rare planetary alignments and a record number of elections in several nations. Both France and England have seen new political parties emerge and are gaining prominence. And in our own country, we are experiencing an election year filled with tensions, including lawsuits involving presidential candidates. Finally, the world of artificial intelligence is evolving at an impressive speed, bringing with it both new opportunities and risks. The rise of automation is threatening jobs on a scale we haven't seen in a long time. It is undeniable that we are living in a period of great transformation and uncertainty, reflecting what could be described as a real storm in our daily lives. These bizarre times require us to remain vigilant and prepared for what is to come. We have witnessed marches and demonstrations around the world in response to a conflict in the Middle East, as well as persistent tensions between Russia and Ukraine. In this global scenario, the political leaders of China and Russia are increasingly closer, forming alliances that even include collaboration between the North Korean leader and Vladimir Putin. Discussions about the potential for a third world war continue to grow, especially with increasing tensions between China and Taiwan. What we are experiencing is an unprecedented set of events, and even churches are observing unusual situations in their own circles. So that you can more quickly and easily understand all the signs around us, in difficult times like the ones we are living in, it is crucial to be aware of the prophecies that are being fulfilled. Many still don't realize what is happening in the world, and that's why I decided to offer a special gift to all channel subscribers, an exclusive digital ebook entitled The Secret Behind the Holy Bible. In this book, you will find impactful revelations about biblical prophecies that will surprise you. Don't miss this unique opportunity to gain valuable knowledge. Downloading is simple and immediate. Just click on the link available in the first pinned comment. Remember, we only have a few units available and they are selling out quickly. Don't leave it for later, as the ebook will soon be taken down. Enjoy now and guarantee your gift. Stating that the world is in a state of emergency is actually an understatement. We are facing a global crisis on many levels, and our churches are not immune to this turmoil. Respected leaders of national and international renown are stepping away from their roles due to serious sins and scandals. In our nation alone, in the last 10 days, there has been an assassination attempt on a president, raising questions about the intelligence service's response to that incident. This episode occurred simultaneously with an unprecedented global outage in information technology, which was considered the worst the world has ever faced. This disruption resulted in the suspension of flights, hospital operations, and caused massive chaos across multiple sectors, including media, banking, and telecommunications. It was later revealed that the failure was caused by a company associated with the World Economic Forum. Additionally, unrest in Bangladesh led the government to impose a nationwide curfew and ban internet use. To make matters worse, President Joe Biden announced that he will not run for president again. This statement left the world in suspense, raising the urgent question of who will replace him as the Democratic candidate just 95 days before the 2024 presidential election. Only God knows what lies ahead, both on the global stage and in our own nation. There are only 104 days left until the elections, and we really are living in bizarre times. We can describe these days as strange, intensified by a climate of uncertainty. It is clear that we are going through turbulent times, and in some ways, these times can be considered dangerous. The Bible warns us about the coming of dangerous times, as it is written in 2 Timothy 3:1-5, which says that in the last days, difficult times will occur. We are, without a doubt, witnessing this reality, where people become self-lovers, self-centered and greedy, guided by greed. The scriptures warn us about individuals who become arrogant, disobedient to their parents, ungrateful and profane. They will come across as unloving, devoid of genuine affection, callous, and inhumane. The scenario that emerges is that of people who cannot control their impulses, are treacherous, lovers of pleasure instead of lovers of God, maintaining only an external appearance of religiosity. However, their actions deny the true power of the faith they profess. The biblical guidance is clear. We should avoid these people and stay away from them. Oh, how evident we are living in dangerous times. The events unfolding around us reflect this alarming reality. With all the scandals that are occurring in churches, we see many who appear to have a form of piety, but who in practice are far from living in accordance with the principles they proclaim. It is a time that calls us to deeply reflect on our choices and attitudes in the midst of such a troubled world. However, denying the power of true faith is a form of hypocrisy that erodes the trust and belief of many Christians. Unfortunately, many of them are not turning their eyes to Jesus, but placing men as leaders and pastors on pedestals. It is essential to remember that scandals involving the figure of Christ are very different from the character failures and moral conduct of some pastors and mega-pastors who, instead of being examples of virtue, have failed in their responsibilities. This results in a mass abandonment of congregations who feel disillusioned and betrayed. The crisis of faith we are facing is further complicated by the fact that many religious leaders preach virtue but fail to incorporate it into their daily actions. We do indeed live in dangerous times, as mentioned in 2 Timothy 3:2-5. The term translated as malicious gossip in the Amplified version of the Bible can also be interpreted as false accusers in other translations. The Greek word used here is diabolos, which can be translated as slanderers. This term refers to those who spread harmful and false information about others, a subject that is rarely addressed in sermons. The world is full of people who, out of jealousy or personal revenge, are capable of sending others to prison, or in extreme cases, even to death for crimes they did not commit. These false accusations often arise from malice and revenge, causing untold suffering and injustice with devastating consequences. Innocent lives are ruined and entire families are torn apart. I recently watched an episode of Dr. Phil where a woman falsely accused a man of a crime he didn't commit, resulting in him getting 14 years in prison. Imagine spending so much time in prison for a crime you didn't commit. This is just one of many stories in which people are wrongfully incarcerated due to unfounded accusations. Unfortunately, the legal system that is supposed to be a scale of justice sometimes fails, leading to tragic consequences. Many of the wars we have witnessed throughout history are driven by political elites who, motivated by the love of money, do not consider the sanctity of human life. These people fail to recognize that each individual is created in the image of God. Wars have become profitable industries, and the relentless pursuit of money fuels many of the conflicts in our world. Arms manufacturers and defense contractors have much to gain from continuing wars by pushing for policies that benefit their economic interests. This profit-driven approach ignores the devastating human costs of war, which include the loss of life and displacement of people, as well as the long-term socio-economic consequences. The fact is that war is profitable for some. While the world is in a state of emergency, we are immersed in strange and bizarre times. Dangerous times, indeed. With 104 days remaining until the 2024 presidential election, only the Lord knows what will happen in the world and in our nation during these critical days leading up to the election. We are living in a reality marked by extraordinary events, in a scenario where days become increasingly turbulent. As we navigate these unprecedented times, the call to action for believers becomes more urgent than ever. In the face of global uncertainty and spreading fear, it is vital that each of us seek a deeper relationship with God and remain steadfast in our faith, being light and hope in the midst of darkness. We must rise up and answer our calling to preach the gospel, sow the seeds of good news, and introduce people to Jesus Christ. The world, in fact, is scared, and not without reason. Many do not have the answers they seek and are completely uncertain about what the next 104 days may hold for their lives and for their nations. The fear is palpable. People are apprehensive about the possibility of an economic crisis, and memories of the 2007 crisis are still fresh in their minds. The prospect of a financial collapse looms over us, bringing anxiety about your savings, jobs, and the security of your future. Furthermore, the unpredictability of weather patterns and the increasing frequency of natural disasters intensify this feeling of insecurity. Each extreme weather event seems to further threaten the stability of their lives, shaking the foundations of what they consider safe. And the fear doesn't stop there. The possibility of a third world war is a frightening reality that keeps many awake at night, worried about the ongoing conflicts and alliances being formed between global powers. The potential for a devastating war is a shadow that hangs over society, making people worry about the safety of their families and the future of their children. The idea of death and destruction torments them, magnified by the daily news of violence and catastrophes. In these perilous times, we as believers have a profound responsibility as the world is searching for answers and a beacon of hope in the midst of chaos. It is our duty to share the gospel message, reminding everyone about Jesus and his promises. For in Christ, the worries and anxieties that arise in this changing world become lighter. When you are at peace with God, It is possible to stand firm in the midst of turmoil without being shaken by the events around you. Jesus taught us in John 14:27, "Peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you. I do not give it to you as the world gives. Do not let your heart be troubled nor be afraid." This peace is exactly what the world desperately needs, a peace that transcends all understanding, that is not dependent on external circumstances, but that is rooted in the eternal love and grace of God. Before continuing the video, an important message. Don't forget to secure your copy of our exclusive book. It is available in the first pinned comment of this video. Take advantage of this unique opportunity. I pray that each of you who are listening to me can remain in this peace, that it overflows in your lives and minds, accompanying you wherever you go. This divine peace will provide mental clarity so that you can make right and informed decisions about your family's future. The peace of God can surround you in such a way that it also spreads to other people around you. Many are worried about the possibility of an economic crisis, remembering the devastation of 2007, with losses of homes, jobs, and financial stability. The anxiety of reliving such difficulties is intense. We must remember that while earthly treasures are temporary and subject to destruction, heavenly treasures are eternal. Matthew 6:19-21 warns us not to lay up treasures on earth, where moths and worms devour them and where thieves can break in and steal. Therefore, it is essential that we all turn our gaze to what really matters, seeking eternal values that can sustain us in the midst of any storm. We must therefore lay up treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor worm can destroy them, and where thieves cannot break in and steal. Where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. This fear of the unknown, which is often beyond our control, can grip people's hearts. However, it is important to remember that the Creator of the universe has all things in His hands. Psalm 46:1-3 brings us comfort by stating that God is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help in times of trouble. Therefore, we should not fear, even if the earth trembles and the mountains crumble into the heart of the sea, who makes its waters roar and foam, and the mountains tremble at its fury. Add anxiety about the possibility of a new world war. It is a reality that affects many, and the potential for global conflict is undoubtedly an alarming prospect. People are worried about the future, but it is essential that we remember God's sovereignty. Proverbs 21:1 tells us that the heart of a king is like a river in the hands of the Lord. He directs it according to His will. The political machinations and alliances formed in this world do not change the fact that God remains in control. The fear of death is, perhaps the deepest of all, a universal fear that impacts every human being. However, Jesus conquered death, and in John 11:25-26, He reminds us of His promise, "I am the resurrection and the life. He who believes in me will live, even if he dies, and everyone who lives and believes in me will never die." Do you believe that? When you are at peace with God, the turbulence of the world does not affect you in the same way. This peace is not limited to the absence of conflict, but it is the comforting presence of God that transforms our focus from the temporary things of this world to the eternal promises He has made to us. Colossians 3:15 instructs us, "Let the peace of Christ reign in your hearts, for you are called to live in peace as members of one body, and be thankful." This peace transforms our perspective, helps us realize what really matters, and reminds us of the brevity of life and the eternal significance of our choices. Philippians 4:6-7 directs us to not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, let us present our requests to God. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard our hearts and minds in Christ Jesus. Followers of Jesus seek this peace, finding rest amid the constant bombardment of fear and uncertainty. The gospel offers this peace as a promise of eternal life and a relationship with God that goes beyond the chaos of this world. In John chapter 16, Jesus assures us, "I have told you these things, that in me you may have peace. In this world you will have tribulation, but be of good courage. I have overcome the world." As believers, we must help others shift their focus from what is temporary to what is eternal, remembering that the problems of this world are fleeting, but God's promises are eternal. 2 Corinthians 4:17-18 reminds us that our light and momentary troubles produce for us an eternal glory that outweighs them all. Therefore, let us fix our eyes not on what is visible, but on what is invisible. What is the visible is temporary, while the unseen is eternal. This eternal vision provides us with clarity and purpose, helping us prioritize what really matters and live in ways that reflect God's love and grace. This perspective strengthens us to face difficulties, as we know that our hope is not based on the circumstances of this world, but on the eternal life that awaits us. In Romans 8:18, we are encouraged to consider that the sufferings we face now are not worth comparing with the glory that will be revealed to us. As we understand the brevity of life, we feel the urgency to share the gospel with compassion. People need to understand that there is more to this life than what is tangible, that they should not be limited to what the eyes can see. It is essential that they hear the message of hope and salvation that only Jesus can offer. In Matthew 28:19-20, Jesus commissions us with an important mission. Therefore, go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, and teaching them to obey all that I have commanded you. And I will surely be with you always, until the end of the age. We are living in a strange and challenging time. The world is in a state of emergency, with people paralyzed by fear and uncertainty. However, as believers, we hold in our hands the key to peace and hope. We must take advantage of this opportunity to preach the gospel and introduce people to Jesus Christ. In it, they will find the answers they seek and the peace that surpasses all understanding, even when chaos seems to reign around us. Even though hell on earth may unfold before us, it is crucial to remember that there is much more to this life than meets the eye. Let us be the light that shines in the darkness, guiding others to the eternal hope we have in Jesus Christ. With love and determination, let's spread this message of faith and hope, because the world needs it more than ever. Don't forget to download our book, The Secret Behind Biblical Prophecies. There are already more than 500,000 copies sold, and we are at the last units. So don't waste time and enjoy. I guarantee that you will acquire a lot of knowledge after reading this sensational book, written with great care and love for all the subscribers of our channel, completely based on the Holy Bible. The link is in the first pinned comment. Are you interested in unraveling the mysteries of biblical prophecies? Subscribe to our channel now and delve into detailed analyses, in-depth studies, and impactful revelations about the prophetic messages of the Holy Scriptures. Don't miss any videos. Click the subscribe button and activate the bell to receive notifications whenever new content is published. Join our community of scholars and Bible lovers. Join the discussions, ask questions, and share your opinions in the comments. Let's explore the future revealed in biblical prophecies together. Sign up now and start this spiritual journey with us.